Now that you've completed your Exerfly Ultimate purchase, I wanted to help take you through the best ways to open and unbox your product and get started. Now that you've taken your Ultimate out of the box, let's show you all the different accessories and how to set this up. Here are the wheels for your Ultimate device. These mount on the side of your Ultimate, allowing you to roll it, take it out to a field, and making it a little bit more portable.
I'm going to take these screws, we'll just take one at a time, and put it through the back like that. Place it here, and we're going to take the nut and screw it onto the back. I'm going to take the screwdriver, which is really just used for holding it in place, while we take the nut driver and screw it up. There's 4 of these to do. You may find this easier to do by turning the Exerfly upside down.
Now that your wheels are on, it's time to move to the rope guide.
So we're going to place it this way around. As you can see, it's slanted towards where the rope comes out. And we're going to take these 2 wing bolts and attach it through the 2 holes on top of the Exerfly. There's one. And now we take the second wing bolt and tighten it up so it's good and tight.
Now that your rope guide is installed, take your flywheel rope, feed it through the middle of both cylinders, and you're ready to go. The next accessory is the foot block.
Goes in like this from the side. Push it on. You can have it at different angles and then screw it in tight like that.
With the foot block in place, now it's time to move on to the extension.
This is the extension. It goes onto the end here, like so. It's easier to do this if you turn the Exerfly upside down. Now, if you do decide to put this on while it's upside down, make sure you raise it up at the front to protect the console at the front as well. Now, there's 4 points of contact. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to use these wing bolts again to screw them in.
Now that we've attached the extension, it's time for the T-bar.
First, we're going to take the handle of the T-bar and place it onto the base, like so. We're going to take this, the dome nut and the screw, place it in the top slot, tighten it, and the bottom one. And take our X key and a spanner and tighten each of those up. Now we're going to take these attachments and place them on the bottom, each one like so. Place the rubber washer here. These slide into the slots of your Ultimate. So when you're doing exercises such as lunges, it's handy to keep yourself stable. The T-bar has these guides which you can slide on and tighten up so it doesn't move.
You should find that your bench is deassembled inside your box. Please assemble your bench following this video, and then we'll slide on the bench.
So we're going to take the top of the bench. As you'll see, there's a longer part from the holes over this side, and that's going to correspond with the longer side of the bench. So we're going to take it and slot it in like so, and line up the holes. Going to take your 2 bolts. Going to put one of the bolts through here, and put the washer on, and then the nut. And we're going to do the other side. And we're going to take your tools, do them up. So we're going to do both up, and here you have your bench.
Now that we've assembled the bench, let's slide it on.
And as you can see on the bottom here, we have these sliders. So we're going to line them up the same way. Like that. And then the back one as well. It slides on smoothly, and you can tighten it up. Loosen it off. We're going to twist those so they're pointing towards the slots again. And slide the bench on and tighten these up.
With all the accessories assembled, it's time to move on to the flywheels. Here's our red flywheel, or big red, or 0.1 inertial load. Take your flywheel and your end cap, and we'll now assemble.
As you'll note, the shaft here has a certain shape, and we're going to attach it onto the shaft in the same orientation. And we're going to use our end cap, slide it on, and screw it the rest of the way. And tighten it up tightly.
The next flywheel we have is our big blue, also our 0.05 inertial load. The next flywheel is the yellow flywheel. This is an inertial load of 0.025. The next flywheel is our light blue flywheel. This has an inertial resistance of 0.0125. The next flywheel is the smallest flywheel. This has an inertial resistance of 0.00625. Now that everything's assembled, it's time to talk about the rope clamp. How to open it. The best way to do this is have one finger underneath, your thumb on top, open up the slit in the middle, and then feed your rope through the bottom. Here's how you adjust the rope clamp. Opening up that slit in the middle, you can easily pull the rope up or down to adjust the rope clamp. Now I'm going to show you how to anchor the ultimate device to the floor.
In each of the corners of the Exerfly, when you turn it upside down, you have these secure points. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they have a slot through them. So we're going to take this cam belt, slide it through there, through the top, open up the cam buckle, and slide it down until it's level with the floor. You may have some anchors in the floor that you can attach this to, and you can just pull them harder to secure it.
Now that the ultimate is bolted to the floor, let's plug it in.
On the bottom of the ultimate, you're going to need to plug it in with the included cord and switch it on. After you've attached the power cord underneath and turned the switch on underneath, switch it on from the front, you should see the button turns red.
This is how you engage the motor with our clutch.
On the motorized version of the Ultimate, underneath at the back, you have this handle which engages and disengages the motor. When it's pulled back, the motor is disengaged, and when it's put forward, the motor is engaged. This is the Exerfly console. This is used to control some aspects of the non-motorized version and the motorized version. You can use this jog wheel button to go through the menu up and down, press it to go into the menu and adjust what you need. The pair button over here is for if you want to pair your Bluetooth device, or if someone has already paired their device and walked off and is still paired, you can press this and it will disconnect them and allow you to connect your device. We have an emergency stop for the motorized version. Press it down. It shows that the emergency stop is engaged, and you twist it towards the arrows and emergency stop comes off. For the motorized version, you've got controls like the energy boost, which will boost the motor up accordingly. You've got the wind up function, which will start the motor wind up and beat progressively faster until the wind up happens. The last option is the enable motor option. To enable a motor, 3 things have to be set. The emergency stop button has to be off. The enable motor option has to be set. The third part is to push the clutch handle forward underneath the back of the Exerfly, and you'll hear a whir sound to show that it's been enabled. The motor won't engage if all 3 of those things are not enabled, and you'll hear 3 beeps if any one of them is not enabled. If you don't use the Exerfly for 5 minutes, then it will set the energy boost back to 0 for safety. For the non-motorized version, the only thing you'd use it for is to calibrate the Exerfly when you first turn it on. You press that and you start Calibrate.
Now I'll take you through how to connect to Bluetooth and utilize our app. Here, we'll show you how to calibrate. This is how you select different metrics, toggle between eccentric and concentric, control our unit through the app, and view our dashboards. I wanted to take you through how to best get set up for an exercise. A common question that I get asked is, what flywheel do I start with? And my best answer for you is, for lower body exercises or more strength-based movements, I like to start with one red flywheel. Now, as you get more and more comfortable, it's really easy to continue to add on flywheels. You can mix and match, or this will also hold all the way up to 10 flywheels. So if you're feeling really strong, you can add up to 10 red flywheels. Now for upper body exercises or more hypertrophy-based movements, I like to start with that blue flywheel or the 0.05 inertial load. Once you have your rope clamp on, you want to find where the end of your movement is, or the highest point of your movement. So for an example, with a bicep curl, I usually want to finish the rep up here. In order to do that, I'm going to open up this rope clamp. Again, fingers underneath, thumb on the top, and you're going to slide this all the way to where you want to finish that rep. Let's say that's right there. Now that I've found the end, in order to get this movement started, you can either use your hand to move the flywheel or your foot. I typically like to use my foot. The reason that we're doing this is that I'm gonna try and get this rope to wind around in the middle of our unit, and that's where the flywheel begins, or that's where the flywheel exercise will start. So let's have a demo. Spin that with your foot, allow the rope to wind up, and then you're into your exercise. When you're looking to set up a movement here on the Ultimate, you want to make sure that there's zero slack in our rope. So let's say we're setting up for a RDL here. I'm going to adjust to the top of my movement, holding that bar. Let's say I want to finish my rep right there. I'm going to double check that. Arms are a little bit bent, so I'm going to keep pulling that down just a little bit further. All right, I'm happy with that there. Notice that there's zero slack in this rope going down into that unit. With this excess rope, we have a magnet on our rope that you can quickly just attach anywhere on our rope clamp. Now that I'm feeling comfortable and ready to go, I find that the best way to get this flywheel started is to spin it with my foot. Slowly going down and then easily get into this rep. At any point when you're ready to stop, there's two ways to stop here. You can either stop at the top of the movement, just be ready that the flywheel will still be going, or another way is to stop at the bottom or in the eccentric phase of the movement. Flywheel works based on concentric movement. So if I don't provide the unit any concentric movement, it has nothing to go off and it'll just stop. Pay close attention to where this rope is in relative nature of whatever attachment you're using. So I'm holding the bar here, our straight bar. Whenever I'm doing a rep, whether that's a bicep curl, bent over row, RDL, or deadlift, I want to make sure that that rope comes straight up or down. You don't want to be leaned too far forward or too far back or even side to side where that rope will be hitting the side of our unit. If you have an exercise that is going away from or too far off of our Ultimate, that's where you'd bring in the rope guide. While you're doing a movement, if you find that you're going really, really fast and struggling to control the unit back down in the eccentric phase, you should think about not only taking a look at your data to have an idea of where your data's at and where your force or velocity profile is going, but also I'd adjust by adding a little bit more inertial load. I have some users who go a little bit too light and it throws the timing and the movement or the adaptation off. So use our app, play around with some of our tests, and then quickly adjust to higher or lower inertial load based on your movement and your adaptations.